Jika Anda berbicara dengan bahasa yang mereka mengerti, maka itu akan masuk ke dalam kepalanya. Jika Anda berbicara dengan bahasanya, maka itu akan masuk ke dalam hatinya. Nelson Mandela. Oke, perkenalkan, nama saya Siti AMINAH. Selama 10 menit ke depan, saya akan menjelaskan tentang sistem hukum yang berada di negara Tiongkok dan Amerika.
America used to be a colony of England, and we borrowed their legal system even once we became an independent nation. So the system in America consists of lower courts at the local level, going all the way up to the Supreme Court at the top court of the country. Also, America is so big that each state has its own Supreme Court and lower court systems. We have local state law and we have federal law. So federal law is the whole country. State law is just in that state. The legal culture. America is a very interesting country because we have a very large and active legal system. People use the legal system in America a lot, whether it's for criminal. For example, we have the most prisoners in jail of any country in the world, like per capita. So there's a lot of people using the criminal system. Also, we're very litigious. Many people sue each other for various things, money and defamation, different types of problems. We use the legal system to solve a lot of our problems. So America is kind of unique because unlike other countries where they don't use the legal system to solve a dispute, Americans will immediately call a lawyer or connect with someone to connect them to a lawyer to use the courts to fix their problems. Well, we have a criminal system, and of course, like this is the civil side as well as the criminal side. It's kind of a two-tiered system. If you have money and you can afford a lawyer, you'll probably win your case. If you're poor and you can't afford a lawyer, you might have a harder time. Also, using the legal system to fight your battles or to sue someone can be very, very expensive. So it revolves around money for the most part. But I don't have a lot of experience with the courts in America, luckily. Yeah. The culture, I think Americans, well, I can explain how most Americans perceive the legal system, at least from my perspective, is we don't want to use it. We want to avoid it as much as we can. But it seems like if you live in America, it's almost impossible to avoid using the legal system. I've been living in Japan for the last 13 years, and I've never called a lawyer. I don't know anything about the legal system in Japan because people don't use it so much. Whereas in America, like my uncle is a lawyer, right? If I have a problem, I just call him, and he can connect me, or he can help me through the court system. So I think America, the legal culture is, and it's very important in America because our courts can control even the laws of the country. So if the top court, the Supreme Court says, this is the outcome of this case, all the courts below it have to follow the same outcome. They have to listen to the top court. They can't just make up their own answer. as far as how I feel about it, I think the legal system in the United States is good, but it needs some reforms, in my opinion. It's inaccessible to people without money, and it favors corporations over people, and it tends to side with the companies, it tends to side with the people with money for now. As a result of U.S. presidents and elections in America, the president of the United States gets to pick the next Supreme Court justice. And right now, the Supreme Court is very right-leaning, so they're able to kind of pro-business, pro-money, and so the decisions coming out of the Supreme Court are causing regular workers, regular small businesses, things like that, to have trouble in the legal system. That's a hard one because, again, I don't personally have been lucky enough to avoid the legal system in America. But as far as I know, like I said before, you have your local small courts. If you were, say, commit a crime, you would go just before a judge, and the judge would sentence you, and put you home or you go to jail or something. If you commit a larger crime, say like drugs or trafficking or something, you might go to a federal court. If you go to a federal court, that's the courts for the whole United States, but usually that's a bigger charge. You've done something worse. And that's on the criminal side. In the civil side, it depends on your case. You can go to a court in another state even. You don't have to stay in your own state to use the civil side. So it's kind of like two separate systems.
Tiongkok secara resmi bernama Republik Rakyat Tiongkok, adalah sebuah negara yang terletak di Asia Timur. Negara ini memiliki jumlah penduduk 1.419.320.000 jiwa dan merupakan negara terluas ketiga di dunia, dengan luas 9,597 km persegi. Ibu kota negara ini adalah ibu kota Beijing. Saat ini negara Tiongkok dipimpin oleh Xi Jinping sebagai presidennya. Sistem hukum Tiongkok sebagian besar merupakan sistem hukum perdata civil law. Sistem hukum Tiongkok didasarkan pada model hukum perdata dengan ciri-ciri yang unik sesuai konteks sejarah dan politiknya. Peradilan dikendalikan oleh eksekutif dan bukan merupakan cabang pemerintahan yang terpisah. Hukum di Tiongkok bersifat terpusat dan dikuasai oleh Partai Komunis dengan undang-undang yang ditetapkan oleh badan legislatif negara dan partai. Sistem peradilan terdiri dari berbagai pengadilan yang beroperasi secara hierarkis, namun tidak mengikuti presiden hukum seperti di sistem common law.